Hello, 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 friends. This is Nicholas, and I'm here with my good friend. Oh, and we've got Ayurveda Digested, where we take all of this multitude of ancient wisdom and distill it down into bite-sized pieces through our life experiences so you guys can understand it better because it can seem very overwhelming in the beginning. But we're here to tell you Ayurveda is simple and it's easy once you get the basics. And so we're not going to do questions today. One, Bridge is coming off of a plague that was brought forth by the baby.
Many things. I think it was just the perfect environment for the entire house to get sick. It was just, and that's usually how it goes. We can do some questions. I have some. We can
Okay.
we can do we can do a little
Well,
dabble.
then, ooh, we can do it. I wasn't sure exactly what we was feeling, so here we are. Yeah, no, it's like that, right? Like I don't get sick until I get sick, but when I get sick, I get really sick, but I don't know exactly when that's going to be. But when it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I rarely get sick, but I mean, here we are. I think like I said, I think it was a perfect time, like the imperfect environment. So my
Well,
mother-in-law came in town. She was like borderline getting sick. My daughter, my 1-year-old, she had a lot of cheese the day before she started showing symptoms, like just a lot. We went out to eat. We had a cheese quesadilla for her, and it was just a lot, a lot of cheese, and then like too much. I looked at that quesadilla. I was like, man, that is loaded with cheese. Um, but there, whatever. She
mhm.
loved it. The next day, her nose was dribbling a little bit with some mucus, and then boom, my mother-in-law came into town and she was traveling, and so she was just borderline already, like picking up different things. And she came in like kind of coughing too. And then it dropped like 40 degrees here.
Whoa.
So like we were in the hundreds, um, like I said last time that we talked. And then we dropped to like the high of like 60s. And that's a big drop within like that
That's a
time.
lot of change in quality. Our bodies
Yeah.
can't quite adapt quickly with that.
Yeah. So that all happened in the same time. Me personally as well. I got my start in my cycle, and that means that your immune system drops. So all at that same time, boop. It was just the perfect time for everybody in the house to get sick. So I my child started feeling it first. Well, no, my child and my mother-in-law did. And then like she was like coughing, like just nonstop this one night. It went from like a little bit of dribbling mucus to just like constant coughing.
And well, can
And
you
I
talk about that being our body's natural reaction to having a higher kapha content to try to get it out and equalize, right?
She definitely, because everything is different. Every people don't realize this, that it's like coughs and colds are not all made the same. And this one definitely felt like kapha. She's had the pitta type of ones with like a high fever, and I can tell like because sometimes she'll stick out her tongue and it'll be, you know, the heat bumps on the
The
tongue,
red,
the red.
the red pigmented
Hmm.
things. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes that, and she's had that before. She's had the Vata type, the drier type before, but this one it felt like cold and damp,
Hmm.
absolutely cold and damp. And but then it switched. I have to say, it switched to Vata. It like that switch from like that mucus, abundance of mucus as it started out. And it wasn't
Hmm.
abundance, it was more of like a drippy type of mucus. And then it switched to just this constant dry cough that just wouldn't stop. And then it almost became like inflammatory and painful because of the amount that she was coughing. And this was like all the duration of
It
one
sounds
night.
like she went from kapha to pushing vata to
Hmm.
pushing pitta.
Exactly. Yeah, so it was just, and just to keep it plain and simple with everything that I can observe of what happened that led to that moment, it's like, okay, it's probably mostly Vata. You know? Yeah, she had lots of cheese. Her body is more more Vata Pitta dominant. I can just tell with her. I know when she was born and conceived. I've taken my pulse throughout pregnancy. Like I just know her body more. I know how she leans. I know how she behaves and all of that. So, and then she had a lot of cheese. And the drippy mucus started, of course. I was like, yeah, sure. And then it just switched
Mhm.
with the drop in temperature, just all of that. It just switched really quickly. So then I was like, all right, boom. So I'm gonna do some things because we had to get rid of that cough, dude, so that she could freaking sleep.
Yeah.
Um,
And inherently, you could sleep.
yeah, nobody got sleep. So then that makes the everybody else more vulnerable to getting
Mhm.
sick because if you can't sleep, you can't heal and your immune system goes down and then boom, okay. I just was like, all right, I'm probably gonna get this, whatever it is. I'm, it's gonna come in because I'm not sleeping,
Yeah.
it's stressful to have a sick child in general.
Well, right. You don't want
Um,
your child to be sick. You want to do whatever's in your
yeah,
power, and that is you giving a lot of your attention and life force to the baby.
yeah. Just started my cycle,
Mhm.
all these
Yeah,
changes, the
and for
weather.
those who don't know, like I'm sure most women out there know that, but it's like insanely depleting. And, sometimes when you're in a good place, it's not as big a deal, but like with temperature drop and all these other things happening, it can be very, very impactful in not positive ways.
No. Yeah, that was crappy. So, I did some demulcents, so I like
Can
she
you,
wasn't eating and
we
drinking.
don't do it all the time, but can you remind people what a demulcent is?
A demulcent is like a moisturizing agent, essentially. It moisturizes inflamed mucus membranes, and so I did like a cooling type of demulcent. I it's
Which you
and it's
would
a
want to do if you
substance.
have a dry cough and or something that's
Right.
kind of pitta-y and inflamed.
Inflamed, painful. She seemed like she was in pain. Like I'm sure any mom listening out there, like you can tell the difference of the cries. Like that cry was like, ooh, that's a pain cry. So like sore throat probably. And she's 1 year old. She can't be like, Mom, I have a sore throat.
Mom, I
She's
need
probably
a
like,
demulcent.
Mom, I need a demulcent.
Mom, can I have a
But
demulcent? You'd be like, "Skirt." Sure. What kind would you like, honey?
flamed and dry.
I'm feeling Ayurveda. I remember you learning while I was in utero.
Antitussive. What do we have?
Oh,
Um,
we're just making fun, listeners, because like, what can you do when people are sick? It's just kind of like, "Ugh, okay, let's deal with this. Let's keep as much humor around it as we can."
I mean, yeah, and so I just did she wasn't eating and drinking much, probably because there was pain here in the throat. She didn't want I could just tell her mouth was hot. She didn't want anything in it.
Yeah.
So I gave her some dates. I soaked some dates in warm water. So like 15, 20 minutes or so, and then I smashed them up. I put like a pinch of ginger, a pinch of black pepper in there. And did that like twice a day. So one before and then I did a little bit of turmeric milk in the date too, to mix it all
Ooh,
around.
yummy.
Yeah.
Well, can you explain to people why you used ginger, black pepper, and the other stuff that you put in there?
The turmeric milk. Well, yeah. First of all, I use the date because number one is a demulcent. Okay. Number two, she loves dates. So I knew that she would actually eat. If she's not eating anything else, she probably would eat a date. Like she gets so excited when she sees them. So I was thinking in my mind, what can I use as a demulcent that I know that she'll actually eat? Boom, dates. Plus, they have so many vitamins and minerals. They do
Right.
boost immunity and energy and stamina and all of that. Um,
Ojas.
some people do consider them antitussive, although I haven't found
You gotta
much
define antitussive because we have
antitussive.
non-English speakers.
Right. Antitussive means it's like a category of herb or category of medicine even that is anti-cough. It's a cough
Right.
suppressant. So like codeine is antitussive, right? Like that. Like there's certain
Buh.
medications that are
This isn't. We're
antitussive.
not recommending codeine at
I'm
all,
not.
for
I'm
the
just
record.
saying for people who use over the counter medications or I mean that's a prescription medication, but people who use like over the counter medications that are like cough syrup, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or like some sort of like Dayquil, whatever, it's probably has some antitussive agents in it to help to suppress the cough. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, that's why I chose dates, number one. Um, number two, the other ones. So like the black pepper is so great for mucus. She did have a little bit of mucus, and so I just wanted to honor that and just use a little bit of black pepper there. It's also very strong antitussive. There's that word again, anti-cough. Um, the ginger, the dry ginger is also very drying to a lot of mucus, and it just boosts immunity as
It
well.
also will help you digest all the other things that you just put in.
Exactly. But that's the important part is that people we have to think of digestion. So number one, like all of this kind of started because she ate something that was difficult to digest. Okay. Which and then all the other perfect scenarios happen to just make the vulnerable state even more vulnerable, right? Because of the amount of cheese and everything that she had that day. Not saying that cheese is bad. We went over dairy
I know.
before.
I'm like watching you. They come to the table. You're like, not the cheese.
It was so it like she loves cheese. She does well with cheese. I just saw the amount. You know how sometimes in restaurants they just put in like a crap ton. I was like, holy crap, that is a lot. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like eating a lot of it, and I was just, man, that one's not gonna go well. um, and so yeah, so then all of those things plus the dates are very digestive too. They help to eliminate toxins. They're a gentle laxative. So all of that is going to strengthen her digestion, which will help to
Mm-hmm.
burn the
Well,
ama
and
that's
other
there.
things that and people again, this is not deeper Ayurveda. It's still in the basics of Ayurveda. But if somebody's coughing, their vayus are not going
Hmm.
in order, and so an up and out is going to mess with apana vayu. So you really want to have good digestive things, so that you get stuff going out the back end appropriately again.
Yes. That's a great point. That is another reason why I chose dates because it just redirects it back downward because there's so much upward moving energy with a cough and like especially if it's persistent and it won't stop, it's like we have to redirect it back down. So,
I know
yeah.
listeners, it can sound really confusing when you don't know, but it once you learn Ayurveda from a basic, foundation, it really because everything everything happens with the vayus. Like the
Right.
vayus are moving things through us at all times. That is why our body can functionally get upright and move around on land. And so these vayus are important, and so they all need to be going in the appropriate direction at all times, or our body gets wonky.
Right, exactly. So it's just been displaced. And so we have to bring it back down. The dates, they're heavy, they're cooling, they're demulcent. They redirect it back down. They're gentle laxative, again, bringing down that
They're very
downward
Kaphic.
movement. Very Kaphic, very, very soothing, very soothing. And they have that like gooey sort of consistency so they can just sort of coat the
Hmm.
inflamed membranes as they go down. Yeah, and then I had already made some turmeric milk because I thought that she would drink it, but she didn't.
Hmm.
So I had already made some and I made it with hemp milk because hemp also has that redirecting quality of
Hmm.
bringing it back downwards. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna mix that in with the dates and smash it all together, and then she ate it like that. Um, so yeah, it got rid of it within that day. So from the time that I started to the time that it ended, 24-hour cycle, um, her cough was gone. Her mucus has dried up mostly. Her cough is gone mostly. It's not like completely gone. Like every, I don't know, once in a while she'll do a cough. Uh, but in the beginning, like last night or the night before, she coughed for like maybe like 10 minutes and then was cough free the rest of the night, which I
Hmm.
think is a huge improvement compared to every 10 seconds beforehand. And I attribute that to the dates. And of course, there's other
Sure.
things that we did too. Like, I'm not,
Hmm.
she has a better immune system just because of the tissue strength that we've built um,
Yeah.
over this time. So, yeah.
Fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in the
Fun.
we're in the middle of pollen season, so that's been whew. Like I think the last time we talked, I was like talking about it, but it's like hardcore now. I'm now in my high Kapha sleep more part of spring
Mm,
where I'm just uh,
I
like
feel
my
that
get up and go
too.
go. Yeah, my get
Yeah.
up and go go is a little diminished, but as soon as summer like fully hits, I'll be like, let's go, friends. Life is great. But for now,
Yeah.
I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah. I've been feeling that too, just like a little bit lower motivation, and I don't struggle with low motivation. I'm pretty motivated all the time. But around this time of year, it's so cool to see like
Yeah.
the different doshas and how they just accumulate, especially when you know Ayurveda and you can just observe and you're like, oh my God, this is Kapha. This must be how
Hmm.
Kaphas feel, and it sucks.
Thanks. I will take that as solidarity. Ugh.
Yeah. If you're Kapha, feel validated. Like the like
It's tough out there, man.
like man,
Ugh.
yeah, the get up and go go. It's the get up and go go. Like, where's my get up and go go? I want it back.
Yeah. Which, like I said, as soon as summer hits and like we've got full Pitta firing on all cylinders and all qualities and things, high noon, I'm like, let's go, friends. LFG.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's
But
why
I
it's
was
important to
happy
eat in
though.
the
I
season.
did get on top of take so I do need to medicate because I have severe enough allergies and related to the pollen that it
Yeah.
I will have splitting headaches. Like I'll have like
Oh,
nasty, terrible, almost like if you get like a rash on your skin, it's like I get a rash in my brain. And so I take the antihistamine and it's makes me feel better, but then I feel medicated. So it's this weird like, I have to be able to work, so I need the medication to help me be functional, but I also don't like to feel super medicated, but I have to kind of balance it. So you know how it is.
yeah.
So Western medicine does still serve its purpose. Now, if I could live perfectly on the land and with nature and stuff, I bet I would have an easier time with it. However, I don't live in that lifestyle, and that's just not really available to me in a similar way. Even when we're at the farmers market, a lot of people have grow houses, and the plants aren't getting the same environment as me. So they're artificially being grown in the area, so it's not as great. You're like, oh, I'm eating local. Yeah, you are, but it's artificially created environment. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like, I just find that Kaphas get hit with allergies the worst, for sure.
yep,
I mean, they
that is
have the
me.
same qualities as Amma. So it's just that there's that saying in Ayurveda. What is it? That I know Dr. Vasant Lad says it a lot, but like allergies are the weeping cry of the body to cleanse.
Yep.
That's I might have butchered that quote. It's not a direct quote, but you get the
It
point.
sounds beautiful. It sounds close to
You
anything he
get the
might have said.
point.
So it sounds right. Oh, my teacher, my teacher. I love Dr. Lon. Yeah. You when you start to really embody and understand Ayurveda, you then come to accept these things. It's not like this thing you have to defeat. You just, oh, okay, I know it's coming. I know this is how I react, and then I prep for it. Just like you have a child, so you're ready for things that happen to children, you know, to happen.
Yeah, and what we do is we reduce the severity. That's my main goal of like, okay, reduce the severity, the duration, and the
Yeah,
frequency of these types of things happening. Which is what we do on a daily basis. Food is medicine.
exactly. Food is medicine. Um, More natural food that isn't processed and packaged and not prepared. Processed, packaged, prepared.
Oh, the three P's. Look at you.
I know. I was like, ooh, I have an alliterative way of remembering the things that aren't that good for us.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta like reduce a lot of those. Honestly, like that's if we think about the questions or go back to the question that were asked, that's a lot of the questions, or not a lot of them, but some of them that were asked in terms of like frequent coughs and colds every time I come into contact with somebody who's sick. Um, coughs and cold, constantly sick from daycare. Look at this. Sensitive,
Hmm.
like my daughter has a sensitive tummy. It's a lot of yeah. That's a problem that I find a lot of moms deal with is their their kids being sick all the time and then them themselves being sick all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
as I'm
from an
sick.
Ayurvedic
Just
perspective,
as I'm
from an
sick.
Ayurvedic perspective, we really focus on building the ojas. So you're having a strong dinacharya, you're having a strong routine for those children and yourself, and you're eating nutritive things, regardless of whether it comes from supplements or from the food that you're eating, preferably the food you're eating and less prepared and less processed stuff if you can. And so you start to build that ojas. You're getting good sleep, you're getting good movement. It doesn't have to be exercise necessarily, but you're moving the body regularly and you're purging properly, right? You're still consuming and getting rid of things. So that means adequate amounts of water. That means adequate amounts of, waste removal, pooping, bowel movements, my friends. And, being as aware as possible about what's happening with your children so that you can guide them better about it. It's not this mystery, oh, they're just tired today. Why are they tired today? What are things that are happening? Did they have a bunch of sugar last night and then they woke up tired today? And being able to understand that if the sugar is correlative to the problem, trying to test to make sure what it is. Bless you.
I sneezed. I turned off my mic so that I could sneeze.
That was well played. And trying to make adjustments based on things that you're noticing, right? Bridge is able to notice things at a higher level from an Ayurvedic perspective and able to then react to it Ayurvedically because she's paying attention from that lens. But there's things, regardless of who you are as a parent, that you start to notice about your kids. And so really trying to connect the dots. Kids being tired outside of nap time isn't that normal. Kids being coffee or kids eating, huge amounts of cheese or, some sugar or snack isn't a typical thing. And what are the effects or the downstream things that you're noticing after that happens? Like my mom refused to give me cherry high C because she said it made me bounce off the walls. Fast forward to today, and I'm like, oh, it's probably because I was reactive to the dye in the high
Yeah.
C cherry. But, my mom just knew not to give me high C cherry because it just caused me to go insane.
Maybe that's what you need during this Kapha season. Get up and go go. I'm just kidding.
Maybe I should maybe I should go I'll just mainline the dye.
Mainline the die. Man.
I mean, yesterday
Just
actually
kidding.
you can see my poke mark. I went and got an IV bag of vitamins. I do it like every technically I can have one once a month, but I haven't done one in like 2 months maybe. But I could feel myself starting to go down, and I could feel how dehydrated I was from my body trying to process all of the pollen and the kapha that's coming in. And so it's one of the ways that your body and your physiology works on kapha is more vata. So it's drying me out. It's you know astringent qualities, and so I have to rehydrate to help work with it. I need a demulcent.
Well, your lifestyles can be pretty just because of the amount of like sweat that you do in the studio.
Yes. Hmm.
Like that, I could see really depleting you. And
Yep.
yeah, like in the summertime, how are you going to manage your pitta
Oh my
in your
gosh.
body?
So last summer, the way I made it through was every month I had a full bag of vitamins, and then in the in between weeks I had just saline. I was replacing I was augmenting my hydration levels with just saline because I was sweating in such intense amounts and I was exposed to such high heat regularly. Hopefully,
Mm.
I'll have some more help this summer, so I won't be the one who's receiving all of the hot yoga treatments.
Yeah, so yeah, because you're doing it basically all day long.
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
in that
And
room, in
I
that
can
environment.
feel, right? Like our bodies aren't meant to be in that amount of heat for long periods of time. And it's not just that I'm in the heat. I am talking, I am cognating, which is also a very pitta activity.
Hmm.
So, you know, that's also drying me out. That's also burning through my fuel. So it's a balancing act. But I'll tell you one thing, which was crazy, was my body, because I had sweat so much teaching spin classes and taking hot yoga and teaching hot yoga, that when the pandemic hit and I stopped doing that, I was like a balloon. I felt like you could just like wring me out because my body reacted cuffically because it was expecting me to need all that extra water. So I retained it. But then when I wasn't sweating it out,
Interesting.
I was like,
Whoa, interesting. So it switched. That's very interesting.
right.
Yeah, I like,
So I had
yeah,
always been keeping that water, but because I went through it so fast, I didn't bloat. But then when I
right.
stopped the excreting of the sweat, all of a sudden I went, "Whoop."
Right. Right. Lifestyle, you guys, like you have to really pay attention to your lifestyle and how
Yeah,
your
you do.
life, because that's an example of lifestyle. I think people don't understand what that word means. Lifestyle is like they think it's just, I don't know what they mean. They think, but I don't think they realize that like doing hot yoga is part of your lifestyle, you know?
Right. Teaching
And
hot yoga. I
teaching
spend
hot yoga.
every week, I spend, up to 20 hours in a hot room,
Hmm.
like 105 degrees with, up to 40% humidity. So that has an impact quality wise on your body. So when it's cold outside, my body, it's great because I'm fighting off the kapha that is could be accumulating. But then when I get to summer, it's just too much pitta. It's like,
Yeah. And thank God you do have a predominance. Is Kapha your dominant? Are you three
yeah,
Kapha? Okay.
I'm a one, two, three.
Okay, cool. So like, yeah, thank God you are because it would benefit so much from that heat. I know
Mhm.
like when I do hot yoga, I can only do it like few and far between because I'm predominantly Pitta. So
Mhm.
I can only do it like on occasion. Um I remember I was doing like I was going really hard on Ashtanga yoga for a while, and Ashtanga is great. Don't get me wrong. But man, it really like I got super burnt out from my pitta and cough, my pitta and vata being aggravated. Plus, I was working at a hospital full time during that time, and doing Ashtanga yoga. I was not doing well, and I had to just not be. So Ashtanga is so disciplinary, and you do it the
Mhm.
6 days a week, right? Uh, I found me personally, I found that rigidity actually made me worse. And I know people in Ashtanga who are obsessed with it, maybe they'll be pissed off at me, but because they always say like it balances out your whole body. It's like, well, whose body? Everybody's different, like,
Everybody's different. And also, like, so you having high vata at times,
mm-hmm.
rigid is good. Like structure is good.
Structure is good.
But pitta, too much structure can cause burnout because then
Mm-hmm.
you're burning too bright and you're too confined, right? It's kind of like my heater back here. If I leave the door closed, it can't air out and then it overheats because the closet heats itself up and then it just recapitulates. Confining a pitta with that much structure can cause that. They overheat internally.
Yeah, and then they'll just be so like I find when I work with my pittas too, and I find it myself as well. Like if I give them a something to do, I'm like, hey, do this, that, the other thing. They do it to like the nth degree. Like they do it so perfectly, and then they don't allow themselves to not be perfect. You know, like they don't allow themselves to like read like draw outside the lines a little bit or like go
Yep.
out to eat or to and then that causes an imbalance, that amount of rigidity and that like I must stay on plan. I
Well,
must
right.
do this every single day no matter how I feel because somebody else told me to do it.
Mhm.
No, you
Well,
have to
and
have some flow.
exactly. And the science of life isn't about you solving all of the problems and being perfect as adhered to Ayurveda. Ayurveda is there to help you understand the world so that you feel and operate optimally
Hmm.
as often as possible. And if you get out of balance, it teaches you how to bring it back into balance or harmony. I prefer the word harmony, but it teaches you how to get back in harmony. It's not about this perfect way of being or doing things. It is a dynamic expression of love from the universe brought forward by the rishis so that we can heal, because we still got to do the human thing if we're going to exist here. And so if we're going to do the human thing, we need to understand how the different blocks come together and create the experience that we are a part of.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I mean that wasn't for me. Hot yoga and like rigid Ashtanga yoga isn't, I don't feel like it's for me. I do vibe with yin yoga. So, like, yin, I do so well with it. On occasion. But yeah, I could probably use more yin than I could the other ones. I could
Right.
probably do like 4 days a week of yin and then make 2 or 3 of the others.
Mhm.
Because it's so slow. You're slowing down and you're just what thing I love about yin. Have you ever done yin yoga?
Yeah, girl, I teach it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, you teach yin? Okay. Because yin is different, you know?
I can teach just about everything. I dabble with Ashtanga, but I predominantly my studio is hot yoga. One, because nobody else has it here, but two, because I believe in the sequencing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So, like, yin is just the thing I love about it is that you have to stay in postures that are like somewhat uncomfortable. And then you get to find comfortability within being uncomfortable in stillness. Like
Right.
it's not like you're running and that's uncomfortable, or you're like out of breath and that's uncomfortable. No, you're still and you're uncomfortable, which is really good, I think, for Vata Pittas. They need to be still and they need to like just not move. Don't move. Don't grab some sort of thing for distraction, whether that's a piece of food, something crunchy, or like your phone or whatever. You just have to stay still or just think about things. So you just have to stay still and just let go.
Hmm.
And I love that yin yoga forces people to do that. And I've prescribed that, if I could use that
Hmm.
word, for a
Yeah,
lot of my clients.
yin is good because it's really good on joints, and so kaphas
Hmm.
who have joint issues could really benefit from yin.
Yeah, yeah. It's also
Because
for the mental
it
part.
basically it forces energy into that joint, and then you release the tension, and there's all this blood, there's all this circulation. It's a really powerful practice, but it in and of itself isn't necessarily that different except for how it approaches the yoga. It would be like doing, I don't know, ballet versus Zumba.
Well, yeah, those are completely different, right? So like the yin, like it goes through your meridians. I taught yin one time when I was at this I was teaching at a yoga retreat center, and it was amazing that this person, he came out of it. I'm sure you've experienced this. I'm sure you experience this all the time, by the way. People like coming out of yoga classes crying,
Oh yeah.
you know, and he came
I,
out of his
I
yoga.
told somebody, they were like, well, why would you do hot yoga? I'm like, because people can't see you crying. And they're like,
And they're like, it's
what? And
just
I'm
sweat.
like,
I'm fine.
exactly. And it makes them laugh, and then they don't feel as bad about it. But it's just
Because it's
funny.
mind and body. And I think that's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
how you can just release a little something in your hip and all of a sudden you get to process all these deep emotions. Like this one person, he was like, that is the first time that I've been able to process the death of my father. And I was like, wow. Just from
Whoa.
like doing like simple yin yoga, because he was staying still for a long time. And of course the fascial release of all of that
Mhm.
happens during a yin, like prolonged postures and staying that for
I
that
like
amount of
when you
time.
get on your soapboxes about certain practices. You're like,
It's
have you heard of
beautiful.
yin? Do you know yin? Yin 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 yin
Yin yin
yin
yin
yin
yin
yin
yin.
yin.
I love that. So I mean, that's my
No, it's all
soapbox
good.
about yin.
But like, find what works for you, and find it, most importantly, find the community that works for you. It's the community.
Mhm.
at the end of the day, in my opinion. Right? You could be in
True.
the best yoga, but if the community sucks, man, it doesn't jive, right? Yoga can be practiced alone. Yoga can be practiced in a group. It's good to find that nice harmony between the two of them so that your body can do that. And when I'm saying yoga, I mean asana as well as the deeper meditative practices. I'm not just talking about moving your body. Like I think I've said it on the episodes with you. I'm like, movement and exercise is the least interesting thing that we do at our studio. The most interesting to me is the transformative thought processes that we offer people through a yogic and Ayurvedic lens. And I was having really good conversations with a client this morning, and I was like, man, this is great.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what yoga really is, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listeners, we've got a jet, but we will have a surprise for you on the new moon. We're going to do a different question and involve you guys again. Hopefully, you guys did catch that we did answer some questions. A lot of it's around children, and a lot of it's around, keeping your immune system up and building your Ojas, which is basically applying everything that we always talk about, right?
Mhm.
Basically, everything Bridge and I talk about is about preserving, maintaining, and increasing your Ojas. Basically,
Yeah, it is. It truly is, yeah. And the other thing, like I'm just being reminded of it as you're saying that, because I was gonna say it earlier, but then I didn't.
that I was
You know how that
going to
goes?
say.
And I'm like, oh yeah, back to that. So, you know the three A's in Ayurveda, right? You did P's
The
earlier.
P's, the P's to avoid.
Yeah, well, these are the three A's in Ayurveda. So it's Agni, Ama, Apana, right?
Yeah,
So like if you just go through your life and you focus on those three things. So how is my digestion? Agni, like that, how is my digestive strength? And how am I getting rid of ama, or am I adding ama to my body? Ama is
right.
toxins, so remember that. But what am I doing to it? Am I adding
Toxic
toxins?
metabolic waste.
Oh my
Do
god,
do
did you
do
turn into a
do.
transformer? Are we
Right.
at like one of those mega truck conventions?
You know
um
it.
that's what I feel like you could have been. Oh my gosh, $1 million idea alert. Ayurveda mega truck ama destruction. um
We
but
could
yeah,
teach them.
so
We could teach people that way. And then Apana is your last one.
apana, right? So that means like elimination of toxins, and also just grounding the body and the mind as well. So
It's the downward motion in the body, down
yeah,
and out.
if you just focus on those three things: digestive strength, getting rid of toxins and not adding toxins to your body, proper food combining, eating good food, living in alignment with nature, all of those things that go along with that. And then grounding your body and eliminating waste, so like pooping regularly, peeing regularly, having
These are
good vegetables.
important. They're not things to be avoided,
No, they are not. These are very important. That's why they're one of the three A's of Ayurveda. It's not like Ayurveda picked another A. Like, it's
right?
just that one. Um, and then grounding your mind too, especially in this aggravated, this very stress induced world that we live in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listeners, we broke it down. My name is Nicholas.
And bridge. Woo.
Bye.
Goodbye.